when the lights soften and the house is left with only quiet breathing, a very small region in the brain opens up, no longer awake, yet not truly asleep. It is the brain in a hazy state, the bright zone between wake and sleep, where the memories, emotions and intuitions of ages 45, 60, 80 meet each other in silence. Tonight, we will explore the state of hypnagogia through simple, accessible science. Why strange images, sudden thoughts, and feelings of peace or restlessness appear at that moment, and how to turn this fragile instant into a doorway leading into deep sleep, a steadier mind, and a gentler love for oneself. If you cherish these gentle journeys before bedtime, please subscribe to the Smart Sleep channel to continue accompanying us every night. Have you ever, on a late night when every sound in the house has quieted, noticed a strange moment between im still here and im about to drift somewhere else? Your body lies still in bed, the familiar room around you, the soft, dim light. But inside your head, a thin mist starts to settle over your once clear thoughts. You're no longer busy calculating bills, no longer replaying arguments in your mind. Yet you haven't stepped into a distinct dream. It is just a very gentle, hazy zone where thoughts slow down, images soften, and time seems to stretch. Science calls that moment the state of hypnagogia, the gateway zone between wakefulness and sleep, where the brain begins to shift from alert rhythms to slower, deeper waves, while your awareness is still just clear enough for you to sense, to hear, to choose something to whisper to yourself. At 45, 60, or 80, you may have gone through enough sleepless nights, enough worries, enough times lying down with a mind like a room where too many lights are left on. That is why understanding this gateway second is not some distant theory reserved for scientists, but a very practical gift for your sleep, for your heart, and for this part of life that is slowing down, yet needs to be cherished more than ever. When we enter hypnagogia, the part of the brain responsible for vigilance, analysis, reasoning, the strict manager in your head begins to soften. In its place, networks of association, memory, and imagination, like the rooms in the back, gently light up. That is why, in that hazy moment, we may see fleeting images, a familiar face we haven't seen in a long time, a street we walked home from school on as a child, the color of the sky in an old hometown, a voice faintly heard from nowhere in particular. That is not a sign that we are weakening, not a bad omen, and not some mysterious supernatural message. It is the brain working very intelligently, gathering scattered fragments from the day, from a lifetime, trying to quietly rearrange them before closing the door and stepping into deep sleep. Once we understand that, we become less afraid of that drifting feeling, less worried about whether something is wrong with me, and more importantly, we start to realize there is a very small window each night. If we treat it kindly, it will treat us kindly in return. Imagine this hazy state as a quiet waiting room between two worlds. Daytime is the noisy platform where you have to answer emails, listen to the news, worry about your health, think of your children and grandchildren, look at account balances, remember medical appointments, try to appear okay, strong, capable. Nighttime, deep sleep, is the train that carries your body into repair mode, cleaning up cells, adjusting hormones, consolidating memory. And hypnagogia, those fragile minutes, is the narrow hallway before you board the train. You step into it in silence. And here is the interesting part. In that hallway, your brain listens very carefully to the final message you send it before it begins restoring you. If that message is, "I'm a failure, tomorrow will be even worse," If I don't sleep, I'm ruined, I'm old now, useless now. Those thoughts are not just passing lines, they become emotional signals. Your brain records to decide whether to keep the body on alert or allow it to let go. It doesn't judge you, but it will act according to what you repeat the most. On the other hand, if in those hazy minutes, even after a long, tiring day, you simply whisper softly, "Today I did the best I could within my capacity. Even though many things are unfinished, right now I'm allowed to rest. I'm grateful that I am still here, breathing this breath." Your brain registers those signals as well. This is not rose-colored self-hypnosis, but a gentle way of informing your nervous system. It is safe now to slow down, to repair, to sleep more deeply. In middle and later age, the body becomes more sensitive to stress, and sleep is more easily disturbed. A message from a child, a test result, a missed call, or simply the ache of missing someone who is gone can be enough to keep you tossing and turning. That is why the hypnagogic gateway becomes even more important. If we carry an entire courtroom of anxiety, a tribunal of guilt, a warehouse of bad news into it, the brain will interpret that as there is a threat and keep us at the surface of sleep shallow, restless, full of unpleasant dreams, waking many times through the night. But if we learn to leave the things that require serious thought for daytime when we have paper and pen, doctors, loved ones, and clear plans, and reserve those few hazy minutes before sleep for things that are not urgent but deep, thanking the body for carrying us through so many years, recalling one gentle moment of the day, forgiving ourselves for a small mistake, acknowledging that we do not have to be perfect to deserve a good night's sleep, then the message sent to the brain is completely different. It is like taking off the uniform, laying down the armor, setting down the suitcase of worries, and saying, "Tonight, this waiting room is not for judgment. It is for letting myself be just a human being. And if I'm tired, I may rest." Sleep, science tells us, the way we enter sleep matters as much as how long we sleep. The small habits at the gateway, scrolling through tense news on a bright screen, or turning off the light and taking a deep, quiet breath, scolding ourselves or thanking ourselves are all biological signals. Blue light keeps the brain alert. Self-blame keeps the nervous system in fight mode. Slow breathing, gentle images, and kind thoughts guide the body into healing mode. What is precious is that to step into a healthy, hazy state, we don't need iron discipline, don't need to become someone else, don't need to memorize dozens of formulas. We only need to place a hand on our chest, feel the breath, allow the eyes to close slowly, and choose just one compassionate thought towards ourselves to carry into that bright strip between wake and sleep. One simple sentence. Tonight, I allow myself to rest. For many people who have spent their lives living for others, holding themselves up as the pillar for the whole family, that sentence may at first sound selfish. But those who have walked halfway through life know better than anyone. An exhausted body and a brain that never rests cannot be a stable support for anyone. Knowing how to rest is not weakness. And the hypnagogic state is precisely that gentle doorway where we relearn a skill that seems simple but is rarely taught. The skill of releasing gradually with kindness, instead of collapsing in exhaustion. You may recall recall those rare nights when you felt an oddly deep peace. Maybe in a wooden cabin by the forest, a small hotel by the sea, or just an ordinary evening when your heart suddenly felt lighter. Not because life suddenly had no problems, but because, for a few minutes before sleep, you didn't hit yourself again with all the should-haves. In those moments, the hazy state feels like a friend who gently pulls the blanket up for you, turns down the noise inside your head, and softly says, "That's enough for today." The remarkable thing is that it is exactly such enough for today nights that help us wake up stronger, more grounded, better able to face what is still unfinished. So instead of seeing that hazy second as empty, meaningless time, we can see it as a small patch of land for planting a seed. No need for big slogans or vows to change your life. Just one seed. Tomorrow I will treat this body more kindly. Or tomorrow I will say one warmer sentence to someone I love. Or simply, I am still capable of learning a new joy, even at 70 or 80. When repeated in this gateway zone, these seeds quietly become new pathways in the brain. That is the science of neural plasticity, but also the art of living gently with oneself. And who knows, when we close our eyes tonight, in that hazy stretch, we might see more clearly something that once seemed hard to believe. At any age, the brain still listens to what we say to ourselves. And every night, before sinking into sleep, we always have the right to choose a softer, more forgiving sentence to give ourselves as a final gift of the day. And if this gateway moment truly is a soft door, then once we step through it, what is quietly happening behind that neural curtain we rarely pay attention to? Why are there nights when our hearts grow calmer as we close our eyes, and other nights when old memories rush in like waves? In the hazy state before sleep, there is something both fascinating and important. The tense, controlling cortex that held itself together all day, where we reason, decide, hide our feelings, maintain our image, control every word, starts to lose its grip. That region, usually like a gatekeeper asking, "Is this reasonable? Is this safe? Does it fit the image I must maintain?" gently steps back. As it loosens, another network in the brain softly lights up. The default mode network, where inner thoughts, memories, emotions, and unfinished stories from the day have a chance to rise to the surface without being interrupted. You can picture your brain during the day as a noisy office, phones ringing, emails popping up, news flooding in, loved ones needing you, doctors calling, financial plans, family responsibilities, worrying about your partner, about your children and grandchildren. Everything demands that you stay in immediate response mode. The prefrontal cortex, the region of reasoning, analysis, behavioral control, must operate non-stop. Like a general manager, it has no time to listen deeply to how you truly feel. It only has time to ask, "How do I handle this in the most reasonable way?" But when you lie down, the lights soften, the noise fades, the hazy moment opens, and that manager begins to loosen his tie, the default mode network, DMN, which activates when we are no longer focused on external tasks, starts arranging the pieces of the day, the words you heard, the glance that stung a little, the small joy when someone checked in on you, the worry from reading health news, the twinge of regret after snapping at a loved one. None of it disappears. It all goes into storage, where the brain quietly decides what to keep, what to lessen, what to label safe, what to mark as warning. At 45, 60, 75, or 90, you carry not just one day, but a lifetime of memories, surviving financial hardship, sleepless nights caring for children and grandchildren, surgeries, farewells, quiet successes that no one applauded but you know were right. Each night when the cortex loosens, these things do not surge in to disturb you, but to find a place where they fit better. If in the daytime you always have to hold yourself together, then at night, in the hazy zone, the brain allows a truer part of you to appear, sometimes moved, sometimes sad, sometimes grateful, sometimes regretful, and the way you treat those moments makes a real difference to your sleep, your mental health, and the way you look at the years ahead. Neuroscience suggests that when the DMN is active in a safe context, when the body is relaxed, breathing steady, light, low, no immediate threats, the brain tends to integrate experiences in a more stable way. It's like a gentle librarian quietly sorting files, deciding where to place each document, so that tomorrow you can find it more easily. If, at that time, you unconsciously send messages like, "I am always wrong," "No one understands me," "This world is nothing but trouble," "I have no value anymore," then that librarian has no choice but to stick labels such as danger, threat, unsafe on your files. And the next morning, you wake up with a heaviness you can't explain, stiff shoulders, and a sleep that feels like wading through shallow water, never reaching true rest. But if, in that same moment when the cortex relaxes, you add a few drops of gratitude, not flashy gratitude, not empty slogans, but very specific, everyday acknowledgements. Today, even tired, I still made it to my appointment. I called that old friend. That was good. I can still hear, see, touch the person I love. I have this warm corner of a bed. Not every night in this world comes with that. Then the librarian begins to attach different labels. Enough, safer than I thought, has meaning. The brain is not fooled by exaggerated lies, but it responds very sincerely to small truths spoken with a grateful tone. That is why the hazy state is not just a bridge between wake and sleep, but also a quiet, bright space where we can adjust the emotional material that will flow into deep sleep. Picture one evening, you're lying in bed in a quiet American town, a warm light outside the window, the faint sound of cars in the distance, and in your room, a small circle of gentle light. You've turned off the noisy news on the TV, set your phone aside. In the few minutes before drifting into sleep, images of the day appear. The smile of the kind cashier at the grocery store, your partner's hand on yours as you cross the street, your grandchild's face on a photo they sent, the slight twinge in your knee climbing the stairs, but you still made it. Your brain holds up each piece to the light. If at that moment you choose to see only "my knee hurts," "I'm old and a burden," "the world is dangerous," then the whole picture will be colored with fear. But if, without denying the pain in your knee or the fatigue in your heart, you also acknowledge, "I've come this far. I still have someone walking beside me. I still have someone to care about," the picture shifts. Not because you erase the pain, but because you don't leave it alone. Gratitude here is like the small lamp on the bedside table. It doesn't erase the night, but it keeps you from stumbling. Biologically, gratitude is tied to a sense of connection and support, and the brain reads it as a signal, safer than expected. The nervous system feels less compelled to stay on guard. Heart rate eases, breathing steadies. The muscles of the face, shoulders, back, hands begin to receive the signal that they may relax. In that space, the DMN continues to sort memories on a less defensive foundation, allowing even small positive experiences to be stored a little more deeply, not because life has become perfect, but because the brain is no longer forced to see only the dark side. Many older adults were taught all their lives to be tough, to endure, to care for others first, that resting or feeling grateful for oneself is selfish. So when they lie down, even as the cortex relaxes, there is still an old inner voice. You haven't done enough. You're not allowed to be weak. But if we look at our own life story from the outside, we would see something different. A person who has gone through so many changes, still trying to love, still trying to adapt to new technologies, new rhythms, new empty spaces. Gratitude, then, is not a moral lesson. It is restoring fairness to ourselves. Each night, when memory and emotion glow softly in the hazy state, if we let ourselves truly see what we have done not to show anyone, just so we ourselves know, then the inner storyline changes. We are no longer a side character, not just an old person trying not to bother anyone, but a person who has lived, is living, and still has something to offer, even if only a quiet blessing. And this is where the self-growth lesson appears very gently. Instead of forcing ourselves to change with loud daytime slogans, we can begin with a few small minutes at night, when the cortex is no longer tense and the DMN is listening. Each night, right before drifting into the hazy zone, give yourself a simple, undemanding ritual. Close your eyes, inhale slowly, exhale long, and name 3 kind things, no need to be big, that existed in your day. 1 thing you did for someone else. 1 thing someone did for you. 1 thing life still gives you. Quietly. Repeating this is not to achieve a gratitude record, but to send the brain a consistent message. Here, in this moment, there are still footholds. When that message is sent steadily within the bright zone of memory and emotion, the brain begins to store it as new trails. On the mornings after, you may still have things to worry about, test results to wait for, bills to pay, but there will be a thin underlying layer of "I am not entirely alone" beneath your feet. So tonight, when you lie down, if old stories surface, the one who passed away, a decision from years ago, mistakes of youth, old joys, unsaid words, try neither to push them away nor to cling to them. See them as visitors passing through the hazy room. Nod to them, then choose to keep one image that makes your heart soften instead of tighten. Your brain, at any age, is still listening to how you tell the story of your life. And perhaps, in that silence between wake and sleep, the bravest thing is not to keep accusing yourself, but to dare to whisper, "I have come a long way. Tonight, I am allowed to feel safe in my own memories." And once we are less afraid of fleeting images, once we understand that the brain is only cleaning and arranging, another question becomes clearer. If, in this hazy state, the brain is not only tidying up, but also freely playing with fragments of memories and ideas, could this be the best time for intuition to speak? Could it be that somewhere between wake and sleep, when reason stops interrupting, the brain quietly reconnects the dots we missed in daylight? Let yourself sink more comfortably into your pillow and let that question settle with your breath. If there is a golden window for intuition, it is very likely opening right before you fall asleep, night after night, for many years, without us noticing. During the day, we live in a constant reaction rhythm. The phone buzzes, emails arrive, news updates, appointments, medication reminders, test results to check, family messages to answer, big and small matters to handle, all with no pause button. At 45, 60, 75, or 90, this is no longer the frantic rush of youth, but its own kind of busy. Busy making life tidier, busy caring for health, busy watching over a partner, busy tracking news about children and grandchildren, busy measuring what we have lived against what we still wonder about. In all that busyness, many dots are left hanging. A fleeting thought about changing your diet, a sense that you are carrying too much, a faint feeling that some relationship needs a clearer, softer conversation. A small joy you haven't given enough room for. They are all there, but in the daytime, the cortex, as manager, must prioritize what is urgent, what needs documents, numbers, immediate answers. The non-urgent dots are pushed to the back of the line. When we enter the hazy state, that mechanism changes. The part of the brain responsible for tight focus, task processing, and immediate decision-making begins to slow down. Meanwhile, the broader, farther-reaching, freer associative networks, the region we commonly call the default mode network, gently light up. In this moment, the brain is no longer forced to view everything along the straight line of problem solution. It begins to do what it is inherently very good at, but is so often interrupted from doing, linking pieces that seem unrelated into a more meaningful picture. It is precisely in that in-between zone, between wakefulness and sleep, that history has recorded many aha moments of scientists, musicians, and inventors. It is no coincidence that some say ideas came to them while they were drowsy, head resting on the desk, not fully asleep but no longer awake enough to tense up and reason rigidly. That is when the brain loosens its fences of control and allows new shortcuts to appear. Two pieces of information that once seemed far apart suddenly meet. Two old questions unexpectedly find the same answer. A long-buried emotion gets attached to the right word, the right image. For us, those who do not need to solve a new physics equation or write a symphony, this golden window is no less precious, because intuition at 50, 60, 70 is no longer vague impulsiveness. It is lived experience combined with the ability to see more clearly what truly matters. When the brain is relieved of some of its defensive duties, that very intuition has a chance to speak. This thing fits me. That thing is ready to be released. This small direction will help me live more peacefully. But the important thing is that we do not turn that intuitive moment into a new kind of pressure. The hazy state is not where we pull out a notebook and force ourselves to find the solution for our entire life before sleep. It is not interrogation time, not a board meeting. It is more like sitting on the porch at dusk, watching the sky change color, letting the events of the day settle by themselves. And if a gentle thought happens to arise, we simply acknowledge it without shouting. So instead of a big question like, what must I do with the rest of my life? We can plant a very small, very soft question, just as you suggested. How do I want to live more peacefully tomorrow? That question does not demand that you make a list, does not insist that you become a new person overnight. It simply invites the brain, while it is reconnecting the fragments, to give a little extra priority to paths that lead toward peace. Cognitive science shows that when we pose an open, non-forcing question, the brain continues to process it in the background, even when we are no longer consciously thinking about it. That is why sometimes we suddenly find a way to handle a difficult matter after a good night's sleep, or after we stop trying to think about it with strain. In Hypnagogia, the gentle question, how can I be more at peace, is like a seed dropped into a slowly flowing stream. It is not drowned in panic, nor tossed about by extreme willpower. It drifts along with the fragments of your memories, experiences, and personal values accumulated over decades. And somewhere along the way, new connections form. The next morning, intuition may be very simple. Watch one less piece of news that drains you. Call the friend whose voice always calms you. Rearrange your tea corner so the morning light comes in more. Tell your doctor about a symptom you have been ignoring. Say one kind sentence to yourself in the mirror. These small things are not grand awakenings, but they are exactly the outcome of a brain that has been allowed to reconnect dots we skipped over in the daytime. For those in the second half of life, peaceful intuition matters more than win-lose intuition. It is time for intuition not only to be summoned for investing, choosing careers, chasing goals, but also for deciding whom to keep close, which habits to keep, which thoughts to keep. The hazy state is the quiet waiting room where these answers begin to form. And the most beautiful part is, they are not loud. An answer that is truly right for you at 70 often arrives very softly, like the sentence, "I don't have to prove myself anymore." Or, "Today, this is enough," or "I can stop this without betraying anyone." If we understand this mechanism, we can cooperate with it gently, before sleep, after letting the brain tidy up a bit, after no longer being frightened by strange images. We can take one slow breath to plant a seed. If tomorrow could be a little simpler, what would that look like? Do not demand an immediate answer. Do not wrench yourself into thinking. Just send out the question and let the brain do the rest in silence. That is how we honor the wisdom that has accumulated within us, a kind of wisdom that no longer likes noise, but chooses to appear at the threshold between wake and sleep. At the same time, there is a subtle lesson. True intuition is often very different from the voice of fear. Fear is urgent, rushed, forcing us to decide immediately. Warning of catastrophe. Intuition in the hazy state carries a different tone. Gentle, consistent, not panic-inducing. It often says, "You already know this no longer suits you," or "You've wanted to take better care of your body for a long time," or "This relationship, though difficult, deserves an honest conversation, not to be left dangling." The hazy state is a good environment to distinguish between the two. When the rational cortex eases its grip, fear's voice has less support for extreme scenarios, while the voice of what truly matters has a chance to surface calmly. At 45-90, you have an advantage you may not fully see. You own an enormous living database. You have witnessed plenty of worries that never came true. Plenty of times when a gentle intuition proved right. Plenty of times when stubbornness exhausted you. Plenty of times when letting go made breathing easier. Your brain has recorded it all. The in-between zone between wakefulness and sleep is when it can access that database without being disturbed by present noise. If you allow it, each night those experiences can crystallize into a soft kind of wisdom, whispering guidance on how to live the remaining years with less confusion. And perhaps the depth of self-development at this stage does not lie in adding many new goals, but in learning to listen to the very small suggestions that arise in the quiet minutes before sleep. When intuition says, "Don't keep reading this news before bed. It does nothing good for your heart. Try trusting it." When it says, "Go walk in that park where you once felt at peace," try doing it. When it says, "You accepted that task only because you were afraid to say no, not because you really wanted it," see if you can adjust it a little. Each time you respect these gentle hints, you strengthen your trust in your own ability to lead yourself. Finally, if there is one question to carry with you, as you step into that in-between zone tonight, it might be this: of all that I have known, lived, and learned, what is one small thing I can do tomorrow to live more truthfully, while still being gentle with myself and gentle with others? No need to write it down, no need to memorize it. Just let the question float into the air like a light leaf. Your brain, with all its complexity and kindness, will know how to pick it up at the right time. If each night we use the golden window between wake and sleep not to replay our worries, but to plant such peaceful questions, then each morning when we wake, there may be a change so small it is hard to notice. We are a little less harsh with ourselves, a little less driven by noise, a little braver in living at the rhythm that fits our age. And perhaps that is precisely the quiet gift the hazy state offers us. Not dramatic miracles, but the ability to reconnect forgotten dots and trace out a way of living that is whole, simple, yet deeper. And if gentle intuition has a small doorway in that in-between zone, then what happens to the final sentence we say to ourselves before that door closes? Among the countless images and thoughts that pass by, could it be that the brain is selecting and prioritizing a few emotional signals as the background tone for the whole night? If so, the final content before sleep, the thing we whisper, the thing we look at, the thing we hold in our heart, may be quietly shaping how the brain restores itself, how our heart rests, and how we step into tomorrow. Let your body settle a little. Inhale very slowly, exhale longer, and look closer at that tiny yet weighty moment. Because the truth is, our brain is not neutral like a cold machine. Especially in hypnagogia, the hazy zone between wake and sleep, it is sensitive to emotionally colored messages. It is like a night shift gatekeeper, listening to what the owner of the house whispers before all the lights go out. Danger, beware. Or, it's okay now, you can rest. Biologically, our nervous system is always answering one basic question: is it safe or not? If the overall signal is not safe, the body maintains a layer of vigilance. The heart beats a bit faster, muscles stay slightly tense, stress hormones are slow to drop, sleep tends to be light and fragmented. If the signal is safe enough, then the body dares to shift fully into maintenance mode, repairing cells, regulating immunity, consolidating memory, cleaning up neural waste. And in those few hazy minutes, whatever we last expose ourselves to becomes highly important data for this system. When we curl up in bed, hand still scrolling through angry, divisive news, comparisons, and dark predictions about the future, when we reread comments that hurt us, when we mutter everything is awful, I'm useless, I'm old and nothing, to the deeper part of the brain, those are not throwaway words. They are little red flags pinned all over the inner map, signaling that the outer world is dangerous and inside there is no one on our side. The brain does not judge you, but it must react. If things are this dangerous, we cannot drop our guard. As a result, even in a soft bed, in a locked, safe home, the body keeps a thin defensive shield. You sleep, but you don't truly rest. You wake easily at night. Dreams are more likely to be colored by worry, chasing, loss. You wake up feeling heavier, even if you seem to have slept long enough. By contrast, if in that hazy state, amid all the fragments of the day, you manage to whisper one very small but genuine thing, one note of gratitude, one warm acknowledgement, then the brain receives a completely different signal. When you tell yourself, today was tiring, but I made it through. I'm grateful I still have someone to talk to. Even if I'm not perfect, I did try. Tonight I'm allowed to rest. The brain does not hear this as self-deception, but as data. In this person's world, despite difficulties, there are still footholds. It begins to allow the nervous system to step down from full alert. Heart rate eases slightly, breaths deepen slightly, neck muscles soften slightly. These slight changes are the doorway to deep sleep, to recovery cycles working as they were designed to. That is why we say the final content before sleep is soft training for the brain, not training by command, forcing yourself to be cheerful, to be fake positive, but training by choice, choosing what you let your mind touch last today. Imagine you have 2 habits before lights out. Scenario 1, you hold your phone, scroll through a few more negative headlines, compare your life with other people's edited images, check your bank account, read divisive comments, watch fear-filled forecasts. You put the phone down with a string of thoughts. Everything is going downhill. In behind, the future is dark. Then you close your eyes with your heart still racing. Scenario 2, you put the phone away a few minutes earlier. You lie there, maybe still worried, still thinking, but you deliberately look for 3 small, indisputable things. A meal you had, someone who smiled at you, a part of your body that is still quietly working, a familiar corner of your home. You do not sugarcoat, do not pretend everything is perfect. You simply acknowledge, amid everything, there are still small bright spots. And right now, I am safe in this bed. Then you close your eyes. Same person, same room, same objective circumstances, but for the brain, they are 2 different worlds. One world forces it to hold shield and spear all night. The other allows it to set them down, lock the door, and start cleaning and repair. This is not empty philosophy. It reflects how the nervous system interacts with emotion, how the amygdala, threat, detection, and areas involved in memory, reward, and safety talk to each other. The final content before sleep is the ballot you cast for vigilance or for recovery. Between 45 and 90, this becomes even more important. The body no longer recovers as fast as in our 20s. Every shallow night, every self-attacking thought pattern has a concrete cost. Blood pressure harder to stabilize, blood sugar harder to balance, memory more tired, mood more fragile. And yet, you have a great advantage. You can see your own patterns more clearly. You have had enough years to notice that many worries you carried into sleep never became the disasters you feared. Many nights, you lay awake over one issue, and later, you wished you had let your body rest. Today, you have the chance to use that experience to adjust your final sentence each night. No one is asking you to become loudly optimistic. You only need to be a little more honest and gentle with yourself. If the day has been truly hard, you can say, "Today was really not easy. But right now, I don't need to work on it anymore. I allow it to wait until morning." To the brain, that sentence signals, the threat is not immediate. We can lower some red flags. If you recall an old mistake, instead of digging in with terrible, "I ruined everything," you might try, "I was wrong, and I have paid what I could. Tonight I will not interrogate myself again." That is how you tell your brain, we are no longer in an interrogation room. We are in a bedroom, and if you can find even one small thing to be grateful for, a phone call, a cup of tea, an afternoon when you could still step out to the porch and look at the sky, you are giving your brain an emotional foothold to build a sense of safety. That is what soft training means. Not denying the dark, but not giving it the only microphone. Not inventing false light, but deliberately turning on the small, real lamps you do have. You might ask, but I'm tired, I'm sad, I'm worried. How can I think positive? The answer is, you don't have to be positive. You only have to be fair. Fair to yourself, fair to the picture of your day. If 90% was difficult, give the remaining 10%, the things that were not entirely terrible, a chance to appear in your final sentence. Your body deserves to sleep on a summary that is not only an indictment. Practicing this is not done in one night, but it is also not far-fetched. Each evening, before your mind drifts off completely, you can choose 3 very small steps. Pause before consuming more bad news. Place your hand on your chest and feel your breath, and whisper one sentence that does not feel fake. It could be, I did my best, or I thank this body for staying with me, or simply, enough for today. Repeating this, you are teaching your nervous system a new language. The language of permission. Permission to rest without having to prove anything. Permission to be vulnerable without being condemned. Permission to notice what is still good without feeling foolish. That is self-development at this stage. Not running faster, but treating your remaining strength and mind more intelligently. And perhaps the question to carry as you drift into sleep tonight, simple yet deep, is, tonight, what do I want my brain to record as the final message? One more self-sentence, or a recognition that I deserve to rest with kindness? No one can choose that for you. But if each night you tilt your vote toward compassion for yourself, then little by little, your sleep will become less of a battlefield and return to its true purpose, a safe place for the life within you to be stitched back together, so that tomorrow you don't need to be stronger than anyone else, only more at peace than the version of you from yesterday. And if the final sentence before sleep can be a gentle acknowledgement, then what happens on those nights when we cannot manage that? The nights when you lie down, close your eyes, and immediately get surrounded by bills, test results, your children's future, loneliness, calls you don't dare make, like an emergency meeting convened right on your pillow. At 45, 60, 75 or 90, the hazy zone before sleep is easily occupied by these things, not because you are weaker, but because you see life more clearly, and responsibility has been etched deep into your nerves. Precisely because of this, hypnagogia, the liminal seconds between wakefulness and sleep, has a shadow side we need to understand. It acts like a magnifying mirror for what we carry from the day. If the day is filled with unnamed worries, unresolved decisions, fears about health, finances, dependence, then at night, in a space with less external noise, but not yet deep enough to detach from thought, these things appear sharper, louder, closer. Sleep science explains this quite clearly. If, before sleep, the nervous system is still saturated with threat signals, must stay alert, not safe yet, unfinished business, then the amygdala, the brain's danger detector, remains highly active. Muscle tension, heart rate, and stress hormones struggle to come down. You may close your eyes, but inside, your body is like a soldier, not yet allowed to leave his post. In that state, the hazy zone is no longer a gentle hallway leading into deep sleep, but turns into an inner courtroom. Everything unresolved is dragged out and tried right at the edge of the blanket. Questions such as, what if I really get seriously ill? Will my pension be enough? Is my child truly okay? If one day I can't drive myself, who will take me? Have I done well enough for the one I love? all of which are very legitimate, suddenly take on a harsher, more pressing tone because they are no longer diluted by daytime distractions. And so, instead of gliding into sleep, you get trapped in a prolonged hazy state. Not fully awake, but not asleep either. The mind spinning like a projector, every scene restless. Research shows that carrying high anxiety into this phase increases midnight awakenings, bad dreams, and reduces restorative deep sleep. The brain records, "Night is also dangerous. We cannot let go." And if many such nights accumulate, the body begins to learn a reflex. Just lying down triggers emergency meeting mode. Hypnagogia, designed as a preparation zone for healing, is turned into a magnifier for worst-case scenarios. The important thing is, we do not need to, and truly should not scold ourselves for this. If you worry about health, children, finances, dependence, it is because you are responsible, loving, and carry memories of what has happened to others. Worry at this age is not a flaw. It is a sign that you understand life. But your brain and body need you to separate two spaces: the space for solving and the space for healing. Daytime, even when tired, is the space for trial. Reviewing documents, consulting doctors, talking with financial advisors, honestly discussing with children, writing down options. Nighttime, especially the hazy zone before sleep, should be the space for recovery, because without recovery, there is no strength left to solve anything tomorrow. The problem is, many of us, perhaps you too, have lived reversed. Days too busy for others and for work. Only at night do we have free time to think about ourselves. And so the pillow becomes a desk, the dark becomes a meeting room, and the liminal minutes turn into interrogation. Why haven't you done this yet? What if everything collapses tomorrow? What if you become a burden? The brain cannot tell the difference. It only hears danger and does its job. Keep you awake or flood your dreams with warnings. Changing this is not easy, but there is a very gentle path, one that requires no dramatics. We do not force ourselves to stop thinking. Do not force ourselves to be positive, but learn to postpone trials to the daytime. That means giving big questions a rightful place, but not on the pillow, not in the final minutes when the body needs signals of safety. More concretely, you might try something very small. Place a notebook and pen on your bedside table. Before turning off the light, if something insists on being thought through, the checkup appointment, the house payment, that talk with my son, write it down briefly, as a promise. Look at this at 9 a.m. tomorrow. Ask the doctor on Thursday. Need more information on this. This act does not solve the problem, but sends the brain a clear signal. I won't forget. It has a place. Tonight is not trial time. Once those worries have a file on the table, you lie down with a new message. Right now, it's just me. This bed, this breath. This is not escaping reality, but dividing shifts. Daytime for working with facts, nighttime for recovery, so you are clear-headed enough to handle those facts. Science calls this a form of stimulus control and constructive worry time, confining deliberate worry to set daytime periods so the pre-sleep window is not hijacked. But for you, we don't need the terms. We only need to understand this as an act of respect for a brain and heart that have worked too long without rest. We must also be honest. In midlife and old age, worries are not just imagined. There are real diagnoses, real results, real risks, real sick loved ones, real financial strain, real loneliness. So if someone tells you, just stop worrying, think positive, as if flipping a switch. You would want to turn away. I would too. We are not going down the path of denial. We are going down the path of rearrangement. What needs careful analysis belongs in refreshed morning hours, with pen and paper, numbers and expertise. Night, especially those liminal minutes, we train the brain to understand as a no-trial zone. There, instead of letting the magnifying mirror project only darkness, we can choose another frame. I have made it this far despite so much. There are things I have managed that I once thought impossible. I am still trying in good faith. No one is asking you to be grateful for illness or hardship. But within that picture, there are always small details that cannot be stripped away. Someone still beside you, a row of trees out front, a morning coffee, your grandchild's laugh over the phone, an old song, the feeling of still being able to hold a book. If the hazy zone is filled only with anxiety, the mirror will magnify anxiety. If that zone also holds a few small bright points, the mirror will magnify those too. The question is, tonight, what do you want the mirror to see? Imagine another night. You are still you, still waiting on test results, still facing bills. But before bed, you spend 2 extra minutes under a warm lamp, writing down 3 things to handle tomorrow. You close the notebook, lie down, inhale slowly, exhale long. Remind yourself of something very ordinary. I have lived through many things harder than this. Tonight, sleeping is part of my work. Then, if worry intrudes, you don't wrestle it, you simply repeat. I wrote it down already. See you at the table tomorrow, not on the pillow. The first nights, your mind may not listen. It will drag the files back to bed. You patiently repeat, no trials on the pillow. Tomorrow, after a few weeks, a few months, the brain starts to believe. This time is truly for rest. The courtroom only opens by day. This is another form of soft training, but this time for the anxiety circuits that have grown too used to night shifts. In the end, self-development at this stage is not about worrying less than others, but about treating your worries more kindly. You do not shove them down, but you also do not let them occupy your sleep. You give them a desk, a chair, daylight to be discussed clearly, and at night, you choose to give authority to the part of you that knows. Whatever waits at the threshold of the future, this body and this brain still need mending and refueling so you can face it with the greatest clarity you deserve. Perhaps the gentle question to carry tonight is, if I consider sleep as part of my responsibility to myself and to those I love, what will I allow the hazy zone to see? And what will I postpone until tomorrow? No one but you can answer that. But the very fact that you are beginning to ask is already the sign of someone who refuses to let tension dictate the rest of their life, and instead chooses to stand on their own side, starting from those seemingly small, hazy minutes. And if we have decided not to turn the pillow into a courtroom, not to hand the night shift to anxiety anymore, then the next natural question appears. So what can we actually do within the tiny limits of a few minutes before sleep to help the brain understand that it is safe, guided, without needing harsh discipline slogans? Is there an exercise simple enough that a 50, 70, or 8, 5-year-old can do it right there in their familiar bed, with no tools, no pressure, yet powerful enough to quietly adjust the course of tomorrow? The answer is yes, and it is smaller than we think. Imagine you have turned off the light, or left only a soft, warm lamp in the bedroom. Your body is still, or almost still, the blanket over you. Outside, it might be a cold winter night in a small town in the northern United States, or a warm summer night in California, or a quiet apartment somewhere near the Florida coast. The sound of the heater, the wind, the cars, the clock on the wall, everything like usual. The only difference tonight is that instead of letting your mind instantly rush into its usual chain of worries, you give yourself a 60-second exercise. Not an exercise to become a superhuman version of yourself, but an exercise to come back closer to yourself. First, just 3 slow, deep breaths. It sounds too simple, but for the brain and nervous system, it is a very clear signal. You inhale through your nose, deep enough to feel your chest and belly lift slightly. Then exhale a little slower than you inhaled. Once, twice, 3 times. No need to count, no need to force it long. Just let each exhale feel like dropping a tiny stone of worry into the bottom of a lake. Hearing a very faint plop in your imagination. In those 20-30 seconds, you have sent the parasympathetic nervous system, the system in charge of relaxation and recovery, an invitation. Your turn now. After 3 breaths, add 1 very small step. Ask a question, like lighting a small lamp inside. That question is not "What did I do wrong today?" Not "Where did I fall short?" But today, what did I live in alignment with what I truly value? It may sound simple, but this is the key. This question forces the brain to view the past day from the angle of values, not only from the angle of faults. It does not ask if you were perfect. It asks whether you were faithful to something important to you, even just a little. Maybe you value kindness, and today you simply chose not to snap at the pharmacy clerk, even though you had to wait. Maybe you value family, and today you sent a message to check on your child, even if they were busy and replied briefly. Maybe you value health, and today you drank more water than yesterday, or stood up and walked around the house instead of sitting all day. Maybe you value honesty, and today you dared to tell your doctor about a symptom you were worried about instead of hiding it. Little things like these usually slip away, giving all the airtime to magnified mistakes. When you ask, today, what did I live that matches what I value? The brain begins to scan the day's footage again, but this time with a different algorithm, not only searching for errors, but searching for evidence that you are still being true to your deepest values. Cognitively, this is a way of retraining the self-evaluation system, making it less biased toward the negative. Emotionally, it is a small umbrella you hold over yourself as you step into the night. And importantly, this exercise does not require grand answers. If tonight you find just one tiny moment, I washed the dishes so my spouse's back would hurt less. I smiled at the neighbor's child. I didn't completely give up on my physical therapy exercise, that is enough. The brain doesn't need a long list. It just needs direction. Here, when we talk about reprogramming the brain, we do not mean something mechanical. We mean resetting its habitual focus. If you end the day by stripping yourself bare and condemning yourself, the brain becomes fluent in that path. A bit of fatigue is enough to pull you back there. If you end the day by recognizing, even in very small ways, actions aligned with what you value, you are opening another path. A path of respect, trust, and cooperation with yourself. Especially between 45 and 90, when many feel it's late, it's over, my life is already decided. This exercise is a quiet but powerful reminder. Character does not freeze. Your ability to live according to your values does not expire. Your inner direction can still be adjusted. even if the road ahead is shorter than the road behind. And the beauty is, we don't need a loud revolution, just each night a few slow breaths, one gentle question, one honest moment. Do not mistake this exercise for putting lipstick on a failed day. If today you said something that hurt a loved one, forgot an important call, postponed a medical checkup, you do not need to deny it. You can look at it directly. Yes, today there are things I am not proud of. But don't stop there. Continue with the question. Among all of that, what did I still manage to uphold that I truly value? It might be, I realized I was wrong and I will apologize. I still kept my promise to someone else in another matter. I still came back to listen to my body when it was tired. The brain needs to hear both parts. The part that takes responsibility and the part that acknowledges capability. If there is only responsibility without acknowledgement, it will see you as a threat to yourself. If there is only acknowledgement without daring to face mistakes, it will see you as someone living in illusion. This 60-second exercise finds the balance point. Honest enough to see, kind enough not to sentence yourself forever. Let me walk through an example with you. In the space of tonight, you lie down, the light is off, your back feels the mattress. Inhale, exhale slowly 3 times. Then you ask, today, what did I live that is true to what I value? You think of how you called the older neighbor to check on her after surgery. That is caring. You think of how you tried to walk a few extra steps even though your knee hurt. That is respecting your body. You remember not blaming the young cashier when the checkout system glitched and you had to wait. That is patience. There may still be many things not right, but those small pieces are real. When you let them appear in the hazy zone, the brain records. This person, despite being tired and worried, still prioritizes kindness, care, patience. And tomorrow, when you stand before similar choices, the brain will more easily reactivate those pathways because it has marked them as part of who I am. This is exactly how the quiet compass works. It does not promise to spare you from every mistake. It only helps you, over time, return to what you hold important more quickly, more gently, and with less time lost in confusion. If you ask, can 60 seconds like that really change my whole life? The honest answer is, it does not turn life into a fairy tale, but it is enough to change the relationship between you and yourself. It changes the way you speak to your brain, from the voice of a judge to the voice of a companion. And when that relationship changes, the quality of your sleep, the quality of your decisions, the quality of your tomorrow, all slowly shift with it. At this stage of life, self-development is no longer about milestones like promotion, buying a house, building an empire. It lies in very small but very deep adjustments. Am I treating fairly the very things I say I value? Am I letting each night pass unconsciously? Or am I taking 60 seconds to nudge the compass? Am I continuing to tell my brain that I am the problem? Or am I beginning to show it that I am also part of the solution? Tonight, before letting sleep carry you away, perhaps the question worth trying is not, what will happen tomorrow? But today, among all that was imperfect, what did I still protect that is true to my heart? If you can find even one small fragment, let that fragment be the final message the hazy zone receives. If you cannot find it yet, take another breath and say, then tomorrow, I will create at least one such moment. Both choices are soft training, and both deserve to be spoken in a very quiet, very warm voice, right within you. And if the hazy zone before sleep is a safe playground for curiosity, it also does something more discreet. It opens a room we have no time to enter during the day. That room is not for roles, not for duty, but for the quieter versions of ourselves. Have you ever noticed, on some nights, just after closing your eyes and before sleep truly comes, a very small sentence appears in your mind? I'm tired. I wish everything would slow down a little. Why do I laugh so little these days? If only I could say this to someone, and then it disappears as quickly as a sigh. During the day, you may be the father, the mother, the grandfather, the grandmother, the boss, the advisor, the caregiver, the homemaker, the one who is still fine. But at the border between wakefulness and sleep, when the rational defenses begin to loosen, the brain allows these voices pushed to the bottom all day to step up and attend a very brief closed-door meeting. No noise, no resolutions, no voting. Just your different versions sitting together in gentle light. Scientifically, we can understand it simply this way. All day, the prefrontal cortex, the region responsible for control, organizing behavior, tuning emotions to context, works like a strict chairperson. It helps you respond appropriately, stay composed, keep carrying burdens, not break down in a meeting, not explode at the supermarket, not collapse when others need you. That is a precious capacity. It keeps society functioning, it gives your family a pillar. But any control system has limits. When you step into hypnagogia, that region strains less. The default mode network home to inner reflection, memories, unspoken emotions becomes more active. As a result, needs, wishes, sadness, exhaustion, longing for peace, desire to live more slowly, all have a chance to surface, even if only faintly. From 45 to 90, this closed-door meeting is often more honest than we think. It does not paint you as a hero. It does not perform. It may say things that, in daylight, would feel weak if they slipped out. I'm afraid of becoming a burden. I don't want to always have to be strong. I want to keep some time for myself. I need someone to listen, not just to ask more of me. Some people shake it off. Don't think, just sleep. Some scare themselves. Thinking like that is selfish, is weak. Some bury it, then wake in the morning and keep bracing, as if no closed-door meeting ever took place. But the brain remembers, the body remembers. If night after night those signals flicker and are immediately dismissed, the mind learns a painful lesson. The true version is not allowed to speak. Only the braced version is allowed. Over time, the cost shows up in very familiar forms: unexplained fatigue, simmering irritation, being easily short-tempered with loved ones over small things, feeling life is meaningless, even when things look adequate on the outside. Psychology calls it the mismatch between true values and daily living. Neuroscience sees traces of chronic stress, of a nervous system always taut. But for you, tonight, we don't need complex labels. We just need one image, the border between wakefulness and sleep as a small room where every version of you is invited to sit in silence. There is the version of you as parent who has sacrificed so much, the version as hard worker who always puts others first, the version as partner who is both grateful and struggling, the version as inner child who once endured harsh words and still longs for someone to speak gently, the present version with grey hair, with wrinkles, but also with settled wisdom. Hypnagogia is the moment these versions can look at one another without the filter of performance. So what happens if, instead of slamming the lights off in that room, you stay a few seconds to listen without judgment? No analysis, no immediate fixing, just acknowledging, there is a part of me that is very tired. There is a part of me that wants life to slow down. There is a part of me that still cares enough about myself to ask for a bit of peace. Emotionally, The simple act of recognizing and gently naming like that already helps the nervous system relax. Emotions are not enemies to be chased away. They are biological messages. When ignored, they must shout louder. When acknowledged, they can soften. The closed-door meeting between wake and sleep, if treated with simple respect, becomes a space of friendly reporting, not a courtroom. You don't have to agree with every voice inside you, but you can let them pass through without instantly labeling them weak, bad, unreasonable. This non-judgment is not indulging every impulse. It is a way of showing the brain it need not raise the alarm just because there is sadness or desire inside. This is an important piece of self-development in the second half of life. Learning to distinguish between the mind's legitimate needs and the rigid stories we were taught. Many people have tied their identity for life to roles, like I can endure everything, I never complain, am always available to help, to the point that when a softer part appears in the hazy state, the first reflex is to beat it down. But the brain does not forget that this part is also you. Each time you reject a part of yourself, stress increases slightly. Each time you say, I hear you, I understand I am tired, and that does not make me less, the sense of safety rises slightly. Hypnagogia is a very fitting time to practice this kind of listening because the brain is in between. Not too busy as in daytime, not too submerged as in deep sleep. You do not need a long ritual, just before sleep, when a real feeling appears: sadness, loneliness, fear of aging, fear of dependence. Instead of barking it down, you whisper, yes, I know. The tiredness is real. The loneliness is real. Tomorrow I will see what small thing I can do for this part. For now, let me sleep. The last two sentences are crucial. Tomorrow I will see is the promise of moving what needs addressing into daytime. As we said earlier, where there is light, paper, people, options. For now, let me sleep is the reminder to the nervous system. No need to open court tonight. This closed-door meeting is for hearing, not sentencing. Scientifically, the difference between non-judgmental listening and ruminating anxiety lies in which neural networks are activated when we are swept into unanswerable questions. The limbic system, amygdala, and prefrontal regions loop in a vigilance circuit. When we note emotions as information: I am worried, I am sad, without immediately building catastrophe scenarios, activity shifts toward networks of self-awareness, insular, medial prefrontal areas in a more regulated way. Simply put, the emotion is held instead of inflated. Between 45 and 90, this closed-door meeting has another meaning. It helps us avoid hasty decisions born from accumulated exhaustion. When the true part of you, the part that needs rest, wants to slow down, knows it is time to say no to some unreasonable demands, is repeatedly ignored in the hazy zone, it will look for louder outlets by day, snapping at the wrong person, agreeing half-heartedly then regretting it, making a drastic ill-drop-everything choice, or withdrawing completely from others. Conversely, if each night in those few minutes you are willing to recognize, I am overloaded, I cannot keep doing 3 jobs at once like 20 years ago, I need someone to share the care work, then the next morning, when deciding, you have a chance to choose from a more truthful place. You can tell your children, I will help, but I cannot do everything like before. Let's divide things. You can tell friends, I want to meet, but am tired. Let's choose a lighter way. You can tell yourself, Today, I don't need to take on one more obligation out of guilt, only what is truly mine. This is not selfishness. It is the capacity to self-regulate, so you do not burn out a skill many only learn late. Seen this way, Hypnagogia is a very gentle teacher, each night handing you a small report on your inner state. You can ignore it, toss it, then complain of exhaustion, or you can skim 1 or 2 lines without panic or self-insult, just to know, today, which part of me is not okay. The part that is not okay, once recognized, has a chance to be cared for with concrete actions. Getting checked, asking for help, rearranging tasks, adjusting expectations. At the end of this line of reflection, there is a soft but deep question for you, listening in this gentle light. In the most recent closed-door meeting between wake and sleep, which version of you tried to speak that you didn't get to hear? It may be the version that once dreamed of painting, reading more, walking by the river, now only asking for 15 minutes a day. It may be the parent who feels it has been too long since they spoke warmly to their child, only instructing and worrying. It may be the partner who needs a hand held rather than another list of chores. It may be the inner child who wants forgiveness for imperfect choices long ago. You do not have to answer tonight. Just know this: if from tomorrow, each night, instead of slamming the door, you allow those versions 30 seconds to appear, to nod, without being chased away, then the hazy zone will no longer be haunted ground, but a bridge between the part of you living for others and the part of you that needs to live for yourself. That may be one of the most beautiful forms of maturity in the second half of life. Not becoming harder, but daring to converse more kindly with every self that has walked this path with you, before peacefully handing yourself over to sleep. And if tonight, before your eyes fully close, you only ask very softly, among those versions, which one will I choose to walk with tomorrow so I can live more kindly toward myself? That question alone is enough to turn the hazy zone's closed-door meeting into the starting point of a day less rushed, less drained, less lived solely for roles. And when that closed-door meeting between your versions comes to a close in the hazy zone, there will always be a tiny moment before you slide fully into sleep. A moment when all the voices of the day, all the roles, all the questions begin to recede. In that moment, there is almost only a pocket of silence left, and in that seemingly uneventful silence, your brain is still waiting for one last thing, the final seed you choose to plant into tonight's soil. You can imagine Hypnagogia as fine soil that has just been tilled. Noisy thoughts have eased, worries have been written down, emotions have been named just enough so they no longer need to scream. The brain is no longer frantic like in the morning, nor completely detached from awareness like in deep sleep. It stands at the threshold, very still, very sensitive, like a gatekeeper listening to what the owner wants to say before locking the door. Every night, whether you notice or not, there will be such a last seed, an image, a whispered sentence, a feeling, a very small resolve. Research on memory and emotion shows that gentle suggestions right before sleep can influence how the brain organizes memories and sets the emotional tone for the next day. Not some mystical magic, simply because the brain needs a headline to attach to the final page of that day. And the crucial question, especially for someone who has lived half a life, is, which seeds are we letting become the headline without realizing? Many of us are used to planting very heavy seeds without knowing it. A repeated line, "I'm no good." A quiet comparison, "Everyone else seems further along than me." a harsh conclusion. Old, useless, just a burden. A dark forecast. Tomorrow will probably be bad too. If such sentences appear at noon, they might be brushed away by work, conversations, or sunlight. But if they are the last lines before the brain sinks into recovery mode, they are treated as serious messages. The brain has no sense of humor about repeated self-suggestions. It hears danger, no worth, bleak future, and responds by keeping vigilance. You sleep without deep rest, dream of loss, wake as if carrying extra stones. The seed planted last night sprouts in the next morning's mood, then is fertilized with new negative interpretations, and the loop continues. The important thing is, we do not need to blame ourselves for the years spent sowing the wrong seeds. No one taught us about hypnagogia as children. No one said the final sentence before sleep is a kind of soft command to the nervous system. We use the pillow for everything: negotiation, fear, accounting, self-torment. Now that we know, we can start asking a different question, calm and kind. If each night is a patch of fine soil, what do I want to plant so that tomorrow I don't step into the world with a heart already tired before opening my eyes? The seeds here do not need to be big slogans. On the contrary, the simpler, more genuine, more doable, the more the brain accepts them. A gentle image, the face of someone you love when they are at peace, the morning sky color you like, the street in front of your home in slanting light, a family gathering, a time you overcame illness, a green tree outside your window, a kind thought about yourself. Today I did what I could within my capacity. I lived true to something I believe in. I was not perfect, but I did not abandon those who needed me. I treated my body a little better today, a small resolve, very small, so it does not feel like pressure. Tomorrow I will drink enough water. Tomorrow I will step outside and breathe fresh air for 5 minutes. Tomorrow I will call someone I miss. Tomorrow I will tell the doctor what I am worried about, instead of staying silent. Tomorrow I will stop saying cruel things to myself. If such seeds are planted only once, they may dissolve like mist. But if each night, in that hypnagogic moment, you patiently choose one close to home seed, the brain will begin to notice a new pattern. This person, though life is not easy, leans toward kindness, gratitude, small agency, and does not lean entirely towards self-condemnation. Then, while you sleep, the processes of memory, consolidation, emotional regulation, hormonal adjustment unfold on a less threatening foundation. In the morning, the sky may not suddenly blaze pink, but you may feel a bit less tight in the chest, frown less for no reason, find it easier to speak kindly to others. That is the result of many small seeds, not one big lecture. From a scientific perspective, these last seeds are like natural, undramatic, repeated suggestions. Sleep and emotion research shows that emotional information received right before sleep can influence how we interpret ambiguous situations the next day. If the base feeling is safety and sufficiency, we are less likely to read everything in the darkest way. For people 45-90, this is not some half-baked positivity game, but a very practical strategy. You have enough experience to know many situations you once feared excessively did get resolved somehow. You have also seen that days starting with a small kind gesture are usually easier than days starting with self-scolding. Now, instead of leaving that entirely to chance, you use the hazy zone to tip the scale. Perhaps tonight you choose to plant a seed of appreciating the body. Before sleep, you look at your hands, changed by time, and whisper, "Thank you for working with me for so long. Tomorrow, that seed may sprout as you treating yourself less harshly, resting when tired, caring for your diet a bit more. Perhaps you plant a seed of partial forgiveness, not forgiving everything and everyone at once, but stopping the repetition of one small mistake from 30 years ago as tonight's whip. Tomorrow, that seed helps you see the present with less cruelty toward yourself. Perhaps you plant a seed of daring to ask for help, quietly saying to yourself before sleep, "If I am tired tomorrow, I will ask my child, grandchild, someone for a hand, instead of carrying everything alone." Repeated, that seed may save you from invisible burnouts. What is subtle is that the last seed must always be within reach. The brain is very smart. If you plant sentences too big, untrue, it will dismiss them like advertisements. If tonight you had a day of fatigue, pain, and worry, and you force yourself to whisper, "My life is wonderful, everything is perfect," the brain will not believe it. It may even push back harder. But if you say, "Today there were very hard things, but there were also a few small things I am grateful for. I don't know what will happen tomorrow, but tonight I choose to let my body rest," those sentences are real enough for the nervous system to receive. The seed is not illusion, it is a choice of focus. Here, self-development is no longer a loud project, but a discreet, private habit that takes place right in your bedroom. No one is grading you. No one is watching. It is just you and your brain. After all the years you have gone through together, you can choose to keep planting seeds of doubt, self-contempt, resentment, and accept that each morning you will carry another layer of weight. Or you can, starting tonight, try once to stand on your own side by choosing a kinder seed, not to deny difficulty, but to stop playing the role of your own enemy. Imagine that for 1 month, every night you plant one such small seed. Gratitude, appreciation, permission to rest, willingness to ask for help, maintaining connection, guarding your energy boundaries. 30 seeds, not many, but they begin to root in very concrete decisions. You accept with more discernment. You decline unnecessary requests. You schedule checkups earlier instead of letting issues drag on. You call the person who makes you feel like yourself. Instead of only staying connected to noise, you can laugh at a small mistake instead of torturing yourself over it. You do not suddenly become someone else, but your daily path has fewer sharp turns. That is your life trajectory being adjusted millimeter by very gentle nightly touches. At this point, there is something worth contemplating, especially for the one lying in a familiar room, somewhere in an American city that is settling into quiet. All your life, you have sown many seeds for others, seeds of responsibility, seeds of love, seeds of sacrifice, seeds of protection. Because of those seeds, some people have grown, been safe, moved forward. And yet with yourself, not a few times you have accidentally sown seeds of harshness to the point of cruelty. If you see tonight as a small chance to be fairer, what will you choose for yourself? Perhaps, before letting sleep carry you away, just one very simple sentence. Tonight, I choose to plant one gentle seed for myself. No need to say it out loud. No need to remember the exact words. You can turn it into any image or sentence that touches you. The image of you sitting on the porch with a cup of tea, not being called away. The sentence, "I deserve to rest," or the promise, "Tomorrow I will live half a beat slower." Let that be the last thing the hazy light hears. The rest, Leave to your brain after a lifetime of working non-stop to do what it does best when trusted. Tidy up, reconnect, heal, and prepare a new morning for you. Not the morning of a perfect person, but the morning of someone beginning to stand on their own side. With the tiny seeds sown in the night, you can close your eyes now and let your thoughts fade like mist. If your mind still wants to wander, let it continue its journey to the next video, where we will go deeper into the mysteries of the soul. And if your body is already tired, then let this sound lull you into sleep. No need to try. Just breathe and remember, everything you are seeking is already resting quietly within you.